Unprecedented, never happened before that I'm aware of in modern history. But we have a standoff that is taking place. It's about to take place physically, we believe, at the border at Eagle Pass. And this is time to take a stand. This is it. This is very, very serious. We now have, and I'm very proud to say this, 24 other states in our union, half of the entire country, now stands with Texas. 24 is the last count I heard this afternoon from Dana Perino on the 5. She believes it was 24. The number keeps growing. In the border governors, the United States governors from 24 other states have now stood with us and said, we stand firm and we back you. We're with you 110%. And there's about several hours ago or so, I had a map here. The last time I got a map was 7 hours ago, and it's grown since then. Here's what I have right now. Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, West Virginia. May God bless this country. God bless America. I would like these governors that are all supporting us, I would like them to send their guardsmen. Now, I heard South Dakota Governor Noem. I heard her this afternoon on Fox, and she said she's already sent troops down. And I think what they need to do is have their troopers. We have state troopers from Florida and other places, and gamesmen, game warden, and such like that. We have guardsmen. From many of these states here. I think that we need to have them go. I want their governors to order them to go to that park. I want 25 states, including Texas. I want us to be at that park on all sides. That's what I want, because I want them to defy half of the country. Let's do this. Let's do this. 100%. Let's do this. And I'm going to tell you something. We're on the precipice of sparking a crisis in this country, and I'll be telling you if Governor Abbott has instructed our DPS and our soldiers to resist physically and get into a physical confrontation or a tussle. But I want to tell you, I'll tell you that at 8:15. But I want to tell you this: we have the leftist Democrats from the state of Texas. We have Joaquin Castro, congressman from San Antonio, very leftist, way woke. He literally said today, and he's still a congressman in the San Antonio area, he said that that Biden needs to seize control of the Texas National Guard. Do you hear this? Joaquin Castro, one of our United States congressmen from Texas, is demanding that if Abbott does not, here's a direct quote, if Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, POTUS needs to establish sole federal control of the Texas National Guard now. Okay, bring it on. You bring it. You are this invasion. You made it. You want it. Bring it. The fake Hispanic Beto Hussein O'Rourke, the cultural appropriator, spoke from University of Chicago today because that's the only place that wants to hire him to do any work. When Governor Orville Eugene Fabus did this in 1957, Eisenhower federalized the Arkansas National Guard to ensure compliance with the law. Biden must follow the example of this bold, decisive leadership to end this crisis before it gets worse. That's right, because illegals from 161 countries, they're the heroes here. The illegals from 161 countries, from all over the world, from almost every country you can think of, and ones you don't even know about, they are the real citizens, not us. We have no sovereignty. We have no law. We have nothing but chaos under this president and this administration. So, therefore, that's it. I want to ask you a few questions on this. Do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbon? Do you want our governor to keep putting up those fences and razor ribbon? I want you to chime in right now. And do you want Texas to fight the new calls from the Democrats to establish sole federal control over our Texas Sovereign National Guard, making it one big open turnstiles for the illegals from all over the world? And also, do you want the words seize control? which is what a congressman from San Antonio is saying he wants Joe Biden to do, to seize control of the Texas National Guard. Seize control. What does this sound like to you? Does this not sound like the makings of a civil war? Does this not sound like the makings of a civil war? I want you to sound off right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbon? Do you want Texas to fight the new calls from Democrats to establish sole federal control of our National Guard, making it one big open turnstiles from illegals all over the entire world, and seize control? Doesn't this sound like the makings of a civil war? Time to chime in at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open for you right now. This is pretty insane, is what it is. Let's hear some of the back and forth today. Governor Abbott on Fox News.
The Biden administration has really, truly abdicated its responsibility to secure the border and enforce the laws. Texas, very simply, is securing the border. And so we put up the razor wire that you were talking about, Bill, and we put up all these barricades that actually have denied illegal entry. And as you pointed out also in that screen, that there are criminals coming across our border. Texas has a right as a state to stop criminals from coming into our state. What Texas is doing is what Americans expect to be done.
We have been very clear. We want to make sure we get something done at the border. That's why we've been having these conversations with Senate Republicans and Democrats for the past several weeks to come up with a bipartisan agreement to deal with the border. Governor Abbott is not interested in that. He wants to politicize an issue, and he's not helping communities. He actually isn't. And he's actually putting Border Patrol agents in harm's way by doing what he's doing.
They don't want to do that. You know what they want to do? They've had 3 years to fix the border. They had the Democrat House, Senate, and President, and they didn't do anything for 2 years. They're liars. Dane and Emory, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Dane.
Good evening, Mr. Crock. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. All I can say is, like I told your screen caller, whatever Governor Abbott wants to do, let him do it. Put up more fences, put up more razor wire. Do not let the federal people come in and secure the border, because the Democrat Party is not doing a daggum thing.
Do you feel like when you have sitting United States congressmen from Texas calling for the president to seize control over our Texas National Guard, does this not sound to you like a civil war? And does not Castro, the Democrat congressman from San Antonio, does he not sound like a turncoat against our state?
Yes, he does, and he needs to be out of office.
Agreed. Appreciate your call. What in God's name is wrong with the people of San Antonio? We've got one line open. Sound off right now at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Ron in Bottom, Texas. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Absolutely, sir. It is just an absolute privilege to speak with you. And I want to tell you that we need to go ahead and not just razor wire, but we had this brilliant man in office from about 2017, 2016, and he finished up, and he said, build a wall. We need a wall. We need razor wire. But what we really need is the complete stop of the Biden party, the fascist party, to let the people rule. The Texas needs to succeed anyway, but I'll leave that one out for now, history. But we absolutely need the wall. I went to Brazil in about 1992, and you know how they meet you when you step into another country?
No. Actually, I do in Mexico and Jamaica, but go ahead.
They meet you. You come off the airport. They meet you with armed assault rifle, militant.
Yes, in Mexico. Mm-hmm.
Control. Well, okay, if you were to get into Israel pre-Hamas, they meet you with military control of their borders, of their countries, as they should. Why does America not do that?
Because we want to send the signal of weakness, and we're not sending strength, we're sending weakness. Ron, I appreciate your call. One line open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Sound off right now on News Talk 820 WBAP. I want to also tell you, and now on FM at 93.3, I want to tell you this too. Coming up next, you're going to hear from DPS. Are they going to stop the federal agents? Are they going to physically stop the federal agents from removing or cutting the wire? I will tell you that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Early on, I know you were tasked with understanding the root causes of the immigration crisis, but you are not in charge of the border, which I think is important to point out. Having said that, 14 House Democrats joined Republicans in denouncing the Biden administration's so-called open border policies, calling it, quote, a national security and public safety crisis. And as you know, I'm sure you've talked to them, so many big city mayors, Democrats, are saying this is an untenable situation in cities across the country. 68% of Americans disapprove of the way the Biden administration has handled the border. So how do you address that? Have you done enough?
There's no question, our immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And as with any problem, then leaders will participate, true leaders, in the solution.
Well, that's Kamala. Hold on, let me try that again. Kamala. And Katie Couric. Here's the deal. DPS says they're not going to physically stop the agents right now from removing or cutting the razor wire, but Governor Abbott saying today, James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, the other visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy of lawless president who does nothing to stop the external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. Amen, Governor. Do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbon? Do you want Texas to fight the new calls from the Democrats to establish sole federal control over our National Guard, making it one big turnstile, open turnstile for illegals from all over the world? And when you hear Democrat Joaquin Castro say he wants the federal government to seize control over our National Guard, does this sound like the makings of a new civil war to you? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Thankfully, 24 other states have stood firm with us openly tonight. And then also Trump coming out today and doing some calls on this. I'm going to give you details on what he says. It's really awesome and profound. It has something to do with what I just said, too, in the last segment, funny enough. We'll tell you about that at 8:30. But right now, let's go to your call to chime in at 800-288-WBAP. Let's go to Oliver in Fort Worth. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Thank you. You're always on point as usual.
Thank you.
And the president has not taken his oath seriously. He is way behind in that. I don't know what he's worse than Obama, and Obama was bad. I gave Obama a D minus, and I gave him a F minus. You got a great show, and I'm behind Governor Abbott. We've got to stand up.
Amen. I appreciate your call. We've got one line open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Amanda in Junction. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Hey, Amanda.
Hello.
Hi.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the border situation. We're like 200 miles from the border, little less than 200 miles from the border in Junction.
Okay.
And we have a lot of high-speed chases come through here. We've had a lot of drug trafficking coming from the border.
Even 200 miles from the border.
Yes. And it affects us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they bail out, they get out. We have a wonderful law enforcement, but we're just too small, you know, and so they can't catch everything that goes on in our little town. And it's like I said, it's a rural, secluded area. So you know, there's lots of fields for them to get out in. So it makes it dangerous for us here, you know, in our little town. And that's just one town.
I'm looking at you on the map, and wow, you are basically 2 hours north of the border. You look like you're an hour west of Austin. and about an hour
Yes.
northwest of San Antonio.
Yes.
Okay, so that's happening 200 miles from the border where you live. High-speed chases, drug trafficking, narcos, cartels, smuggling. Our country, but our state is being invaded 200 miles in. This has to stop. We got to send and we need to get these 24 other states to send their guardsmen and troopers there at that park. We're going to make a stand. I appreciate your call, Amanda. One line open at 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. One line open. Let's go to, which one do you want me to go to, 1 or 2? 3. Okay, 2. Let's go to Joey in Weatherford. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call. I'll make 2 points.
Welcome. Good evening.
Good show. First of all, I want to voice my support for the governor. I think he's got the right position, and I fully support the governor and what he's doing to protect our state of Texas. The second point is that Congressman Castro is correct. I think he's wrong, but it could be a strategy of President Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. Therefore, they would then have a chain of command that would link it back basically to the Pentagon under the president instead of the governor. One thing that
I think he'll lose if that happens. I think Joe Biden will lose at that point because then you can say this man has fully opened up the border and taken control of our state to make it one big massive turnstile.
Yes,
I think he would be
that.
destroyed. Right now he's at 28% approval in immigration in this country.
Yes, I think it would be the wrong move too, but I don't think this president's very smart. My second part, or my second part of that second comment is Texas, like many states, have also a Texas State Guard, and many states will have a state guard or a militia force that is not a true Air National Guard or true Army National Guard that fall under the Department of Air Force or Department of Army, but in the case of Texas, the Texas State Guard is a state militia. It is a fully organized military force within the state of Texas that is not subject to federal call-up, and it is has units around the state, and it is subject to the call of the governor.
And Governor Abbott already said that he can deputize you and such. He had a program he already started for this. I pray that we can activate that if he federalizes our Texas State Guard. May God bless you, my brother, and I appreciate you. This is insane, and we need to fight in every single way we can. 2 lines open for the first time this half hour. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, I'm going to be telling you about President Trump, what he is urging all states in this country, quite possibly the next president of this United States of America. He is urging all states to do this. I'll tell you what that is coming up next. Plus your call. We got 2 lines open now. 800-288-WBAP. Sound off now at 800-288-9227.
Would you allow these cities to ignore the federal law regarding the reporting of illegal immigrants and, in fact, provide sanctuary to these immigrants?
The reason the cities ignore the federal law is the fact that there is no funding at the federal level to provide for the kind of enforcement at the federal level you need. Pick up the New York Times today. There's a city not far across the river from my state that imposed similar sanctions. And what they found out is, as a consequence of that, their city went in the dumps, in the dumpster. Stores started closing. Everything started to happen. And they changed the policy. Part of the problem is you have to have a federal government that can enforce laws. This administration has been fundamentally derelict in not funding any of the requirements that are needed even to enforce the existing law.
So, Senator Biden, yes or no, would you allow the cities to ignore the federal law?
No.
Okay.
Well, except for now. Now he's leading the invasion of 9 million people, 1.5 million gotaways, and guess what? We are having 800 gotaways a day. That report just coming in recently. 800 gotaways a day. Now, this new proposal that some Republicans like Mittens Romney want to do, and what's his name? The turtle. Frozen Mitch. He wants to do that too. Frozen Mitch, yeah. I'm doing my impersonation on Facebook Live right now. Follow me at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. You ready? I was frozen Mitch there for a second. Okay, so Trump is urging the states to surge. This is amazing because I didn't know this. I said I want all these 24 other states have joined us. For 25 states are saying, flipping the bird to Biden, saying we stand with Texas and defying and staying in that park and protecting our own borders. In fact, I demanded, I said, to send all of your guardsmen and troopers here to stand with us in that park to make a final stand against this federal government that's destroying our country under Joe Biden. So Trump today gave his backing to Texas Governor Greg Abbott amid the feud with the Biden administration over the border, urging states to do what I said about 20 minutes ago: send your National Guard to the border, all of them from the other states, and promise to work hand in hand. I will work with you, and you guys need to promise to work with the state to combat the invasion. And boom, thank you, President Trump. You're right, and we all pray that you are our president because you are the de facto Republican now. We're going to get into that later, by the way. Okay, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbon? The U.S. Supreme Court did not say we have to stop putting up razor ribbon and fences. They just said we have to allow the feds to cut the razor ribbon. So we're going to keep going more. Governor Kristi Noem said she will send down truckloads of razor ribbon to make sure we don't stop putting it up. We must continue to go. So my questions for you are, do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbons, regardless of how much they're trying to cut it at the federal level? Do you want Texas to fight the new calls from the Democrats? We have Joaquin Castro and other Democrats now calling to establish sole federal control over our Texas National Guard, making it one big open turnstile for illegals from all over the world. Seize control, by the way. Doesn't that sound like the makings of a new civil war? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's see here. Let's go to Daniel in Weatherford. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP. It was a Danielle. I apologize. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, nice to talk with you this evening. So it is an absolute grab of power. Bottom line, that what are they so worried about that we're going to figure out? I mean, the fact that they're willing to destroy a country to maintain their riches, to maintain their power, and put innocent lives like the woman that called in earlier, farmers like myself, that in jeopardy. I mean, it's obvious to me that they are definitely fascist, number one, but what are they so worried about? I mean, what are they concerned that we are going to find out? Because I think there's much more to the story in the grab for power. And I believe that it is absolutely the makings of a civil war. It's almost like they're inciting it. They want to talk about Trump inciting things. If anyone's inciting anything as far as an uproar, people, or civil war, that would be the Biden administration. And
amen, Danielle. So you're saying stand firm and stop them and keep putting it up.
100%. And they should not underestimate Texans, number one. Because if we have to, I feel certain, at least in my farming community, we're willing to secede if need be. We're willing to have a revolution. And if that's what they want, because we cannot let them destroy our nation. I mean, it's obviously a grab for power. Biden is not running the country. That is obvious. It's the Obama administration. It is a grab for power. They do not want Trump in office or any other Republican because what they are doing is so despicable that they will do anything, including jeopardizing our nation, to maintain their riches and to cover up all of the collusion that is going on. And that's what I believe. And I believe that they will do anything to maintain power. And so we may have to come down to a civil war, a revolution, because it is fascist and it is absolutely pure evil. And for those of us that are Christian, myself included, we need to band together. We cannot allow this to happen.
I appreciate you, Danielle. Thank you for your great call from Weatherford. We have one line open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And Governor Abbott I just retweeted this. Follow me on Twitter at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. CHRISKROK at Chris Crock Show on Twitter and on Facebook. I just retweeted this. Governor Greg Abbott just tweeted minutes ago. Half of America joins Texas in asserting our constitutional right of self-defense under Article 1, Section 10, stemming from Biden's refusal to enforce immigration laws. His actions have caused unprecedented invasion we must defend against. And then he attaches a press release from the Republican Governors Association listing every state, and there are, I was right an hour and a half ago, or 40 minutes ago, every single state in half the country, now 24 governors in our country, stand with us. That's it. Come at us. That's it. You have half the country. That's it. It's over. Stop it. Get off. All right, let's go to your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. John and Van Alstyne, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Well, Chris, thanks for taking this up and making the stand that you are making. God bless Governor Abbott for making the stand he's making. And I'm former military, and I think what he needs to do is deputize former military personnel to go down there and stand with the Texas State Guard. Because
he can, and he has. It's a militia. He can do that, and he has. Go ahead.
Well, the Texas State Guard is not. The Texas State Guard is a military police force. Okay, it's not geared for anything more than that.
You're talking about what the one person mentioned earlier. I'll tell you what, though, Governor Abbott, you can Google it. I remember when we talked about this, he did start a program where he can deputize people, and you can be a marshal that is part of a militia that would help enforce the border laws.
Okay, so he's already taken that step?
Yes, he has, but it's a program that he started, and I have not heard anything about it putting the kibosh on it, so it should still be happening.
Well, if you could get a hold of the information, because when I go to contact Governor Abbott, I get a standard form, make a comment.
Well, that's how it's going to be for any governor, but there's just Google what I said, militia, Governor Abbott, sign up, border, and then you'll see what you find there, okay?
Okay, well, thanks again for taking it up.
I appreciate you very much. 800-288-WBAP is our number. We have two lines open for you to chime in at 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. Let's see here. Let's go to let's go to Bobby in Gun City. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Welcome, brother.
My comment was that no state needs to secede from the Union. They've tried that and it didn't work out well. But what we can do is the states that I call them un-American, that don't believe in the constitutional republic, for example, California, Washington, includes D.C., we need to eject them from the Union. Say, you're out. You're not part of the Union. You don't believe in the Constitution. You're out.
Who knows what's going to happen with this literal standoff that's starting right now? Biden has sent him a second letter today, Governor Abbott, and onto our Attorney General Ken Paxton, demanding that we stand down, and we are flipping them the bird, and 24 other states tonight are flipping the bird. Half of this country flips this man the bird, and we're mooning him, and I couldn't agree more. Up next, a top ICE official had a meeting with a radical pro-illegal leftist group. Why in God's name is Biden's top ICE official meeting with a radical pro-illegal invasion group? That just happened. All that's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show. Do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and raise ribbon? Do you want Texas to fight the new calls from Democrats to establish sole federal control over our Texas National Guard, making it one big open turnstile for the illegals from all over the world, and seize control? Doesn't this sound like the makings of a civil war? 800-288-WBAP. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Top ICE official defends meeting. He's the top ICE official, defense chief meeting with Abolish Borders activists. Joe Biden's top ICE official is meeting with Abolish Borders activists. ICE Chief of Staff Michael Lumpkin met Tuesday with Satara Gandhari, an advocate director of Detention Watch Network, who has established hashtag Abolish Borders in her bio to discuss her organization's demands for a world without ICE detention. So there you go. This is Joe Biden's agenda. People that want to destroy our country and destroy ICE and destroy our borders and destroy law are important. We are not. You understand that? Illegals who have no claim to be here, no claim to asylum, who will not show up, who are illegals. They are not migrants. They're illegals. They're invading us from 171 countries, many of which we don't even know we never heard of them before. They are here because Joe wants them, and now you have Democrats proposing to seize control over the Texas National Guard to make it a full-scale invasion with no resistance, to tear down everything that is blocking those border walls, the borders. So what do you say? Do you want, and by the way, now 24 other states stand with Texas and saying, absolutely not. Half of this country is flipping the bird at Joe Biden, saying resist. And so do you want Governor Abbott to keep putting up fences and razor ribbon, is my question. Along with, do you want Texas to fight these new calls from Democrats to establish sole federal control over the National Guard, making it one big open turnstile for illegals from all over the world, and then seize control? Doesn't this sound like the makings of a new civil war? It sure does. Listen, I want us to stand firm 110%. I want every single one of those 24 other governors from Republican states all over this country that stand with us tonight. I want them to send their troopers, and I want them to send their guardsmen, a good contingency of each, so they can come and stand with us at that park, so we can have half the country standing there saying, let's go. You want to do this? Let's go. Let's go. We don't have to get violent. We don't have to fight them. But to keep putting up all this wire, fences, over again, and have 24 states together of authorities standing there, and then Joe Biden will literally have to, watch this, ready? If he takes control of, watch this, if he takes control of our National Guard, that I am begging before that would happen, all 24 states to send their guardsmen down here to fill in the gap for us. And at that point, he will have to federalize half the freaking country. That will have, I mean, dude, that means he's trying to take over this country. I mean, what? That's where civil wars happen. I pray to God it doesn't get there, but it sure feels like that's where it's headed. One line is open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Time to chime in now from you. I'd love to hear from you. I got one line open. Let's go to Brian in Arlington. You're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, all these comments that are being made, but I haven't heard anyone talk about this one point that has had me pissed off for months while it was going on. And I just can't get over the Biden administration has no problem disregarding and not doing anything at all in defense of our own military, of ships that are sailing through the Red Sea with our flag on them. And the Houthis and the Hezbollah and these people are bombing small American military installations that are dotted around. And that dumb bastard will not take up for our own military, our own soldiers that are willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice to protect our country.
You know what he also did, speaking of the Houthis and the Iranians who are funding them and arming them and funded and armed the Hamas to murder and slaughter Jews and rape them and kill their babies and cut their heads off? Do you know who we sent a warning to about a terror attack that was coming on January 4th? You know who it was? It's in the Wall Street Journal today. They broke the story today. Ready? You know what they did? You know what we did?
No.
We told Iran. We gave them our intelligence. And we said, hey, you're about to get a terror attack on January 4th. Remember when that big bomb blew up that funeral for Qasem Soleimani? We warned them about that right before it happened. We shared our intelligence with the people that are slaughtering us and wanting to kill us and have a nuclear bomb to kill our Jewish friends. That's who Joe Biden does. He shares the intelligence that we have to protect the terrorists. They're the world's largest state sponsor of terror, and Joe Biden's protecting them, not us.
But I want you to think about that, man. He will not do anything in an aggressive manner toward those people in another part of the world. They're living in God knows what kind of rat-infested, sand, flea-ridden.
Well, he won't help. He won't hurt them. He's helping them. He wants them to kill us.
But what will he do? He'll threaten our own soldiers.
Yes.
In one of the largest states in the entire United States.
That's right. That's right. We are the enemy. Get it right. Get it right in your head, Brian. We are the enemy. Got to roll. Appreciate your call. Our governor is sparring back and forth today with Karine Jean-Pierre. I'll tell you what was said on both sides, back and forth and back and forth. Next, we have one line open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. President Biden now being urged to take over our Texas State Guard, National Guard, because he wants to stop us from protecting ourselves. It's vile, as he is helping Iran to protect itself so they can kill more Jews and kill more of us and our allies in the Red Sea and our shipping channels. 800-288-WBAP, Chris Crock Show, News Talk on WBAP, 820 News WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.